Morning, everybody. Thunder in the desert, and I'm glad I'm in the desert today. I would be remiss if I didn't do a video on what's happening right now with these protests. And I have a few other things to say while I'm at it. Now, number one, numero uno, we got protests all over America in all kinds of cities, and it's totally out of control. I watched a streaming video last night from Portland, and I watched about 2 hours of these absolute fucking idiots out there causing all kinds of trouble. Um these Hillary nutcases, okay, out there causing all kinds of trouble because of the election, okay. And I warned everybody about this. I said this shit would probably happen, okay? I said it would happen, and it's happening. And it's pretty bad because these people are. I saw some incidents last night where in Portland where they went to a Toyota dealership and trashed at least 10, 12 cars, burnt some things down, uh, smashed electrical junction boxes. And the police held off for a long time. Why they held off, I don't know, because they don't usually. So, what does that tell you? But eventually, they drove these morons out of there because citizens were getting uh, pretty upset. Okay. The first question you have to ask yourself with this is, where the fuck is Hillary Clinton? Where the fuck is Obama? They could diffuse this whole situation. Hillary could come out and say, hey, you people need to calm down, back off. The election is over. Accept the results, whatever. She could calm the people down. Where the fuck is she? Now, at the time that I'm giving this video, she hasn't appeared. Okay. So, what does that tell you? What does that tell you? Tells you she doesn't give a shit. That's what it tells you. And they actually probably want this to happen. There's agent provocateurs in the group. Okay, there's agent provocateurs. They're easily identifiable by somebody like me who knows what the fuck they look like. Black masks, headgear, usually dressed in dark clothing. One of them went up and started spray painting a building, and he kept writing over and over in a very quick, precise manner, fuck Trump, fuck Trump, fuck Trump. And then he proceeded to turn and kick a window in. Okay, and then some other guy took a baseball bat and destroyed a junction box, and all the lights blew out. They're destroying public and private property. They're harassing business owners. These fucking scum. Okay. And basically, there's a whole kind of mixture of people. Now, these agent provocateurs, they will use a situation to incite violence. And if people aren't already predisposed to violence, they will get them excited so that they will participate in it and do it themselves. Okay, that's what agent provocateurs do. They incite people to violence. So much for peaceful protests in any way, shape, or form. They always turn into a clusterfuck one way or another. Uh, these people are the enemy. These people that are out there protesting, if they're not enlightened enough to see that the thing that they're protesting, the thing, Hillary, that they're protesting for her is a heinous, deep, dark, demonic bitch, okay? If they can't see that, then they're the enemy, okay? Because they're blinded and they're just as bad as the deep state and Hillary and everybody else that's doing this shit, that's propagating it. And you know, you can blame 99.999% of this on the media and how they demonize Trump, okay? Let's look at this logically, just for a second here, okay? They demonized Trump, okay? They made him look probably 100 times worse than he actually is. And they did it through covert psyops type things and accusations, okay? I've been over this before. Some people don't get it. Some people that are close to me don't fucking get it. Now, when the election started, here was this guy, okay? I'm not defending anybody here. I'm just looking at this thing logically, the big picture. The whole ball of wax. When he started, he was just a guy running for office, just a normal guy. What were his big sins? I'll tell you what his big sins. I'll name them right now, so you'll understand. His big sins were, he said he was going to build a wall to keep out people from coming over the border, illegal immigrants. So right away they turned that around and said he was a racist and a Muslim racist and a Latino racist. That's where that came from. He didn't say he hated Hispanics or any people. He just said he wanted to protect the borders. So what did the opposite side do? What did the deep state do? They turned it around and said he was racist. They played the race card. He's not racist because he has businesses that employ hundreds, if not thousands, of Latinos, okay, and blacks and every other kind of nationality. Then the second thing that they came out with was that he was a pervert and these women came out. I don't even need to explain that, do I? Because if you're that fucking stupid, I feel like I'm wasting my breath anyway. He's a normal guy, okay, that thinks about chicks or women. And he's got a hot-looking babe wife, and he's into the erotic, obviously. And they make that look like it's a big fucking crime. This shit is irrelevant that they brought up on him. Again, I may sound like I'm defending him, but I just look at the hard, cold facts, okay? And the facts are they made a whole bunch of shit out of fucking nothing. Now let's look at Hillary. Let's look at her Benghazi incidents and how she let Navy SEALs and an ambassador die when she could have gone in and saved their ass. Let's look at how she propagated hegemony as Secretary of State. Let's look at the hundreds of thousands of people she's killed because of her policies. 300,000 in Syria alone. Let's look at her laughing and cackling when they raped and sodomized and killed Gaddafi. About how she laughed about how he died. Okay? Let's just look at shit, these morons that are wandering around in the fucking streets. Let's look at the fact that she said that she would use a nuclear option against Russia and shoot their planes out of the sky. Let's look, I mean, do I need to go on any fucking further? Do I? And these people are whining about, you got a lot of people out there that are black, okay? Special groups, what I call disenfranchised people. So you got blacks, you got Latinos, you got the LGBT get laid, gay, lesbian bullshit. You got women that feel disenfranchised. You got the Bernie supporters that feel disenfranchised. And they claim that they're against the system. And yet they're out there whining and crying and moaning and wailing and throwing tantrums and causing havoc and destroying people's personal property because they're against the system? No. The system is against them, and Hillary Clinton is a part of that system. I'm really kind of pissed off because I got close friends that even lapse into this demonization of Trump. Okay? And you know who you are. Because they bought in to all this years worth or 2 years worth of propaganda by the mainstream media, the main scum media, that kept beating this drum over and over again that Trump's a bad guy. And if you can't see this shit, then don't call yourself enlightened. Don't call yourself awake. Don't call yourself aware. Call yourself brainwashed and influenced by the constant drumming of the mainstream media, either on a conscious or subconscious level. And as much as I've talked about on my videos, and even in my group that I have, the Campfire Council, there are still some people that it didn't really sink in, okay? And it's not just me that has posted things and said things. It's other people too that are awake, that realize the heinousness of what's going on. Whenever somebody points a finger at somebody else and demonizes them, okay, like they did with Trump, his name could have been Forrest Gump for all I care. They pointed a finger at him, the deep state, Hillary, the Democrats who disenfranchised and fucked over their own Bernie people. This is all deep, dark, heavy, covert, psyops propaganda at the highest fucking level. And what did they do? They pointed a finger at Trump and accused him of all kinds of things and demonized him. So what is usually happening when somebody's pointing a finger at somebody else? Well, usually it's the person that's pointing the finger that is the devil, the dark one. I've run into this all my life as a black sheep, having fingers pointed at me. Okay? Thinking outside the box, being a free spirit, being a black sheep, coming up with new ideas. And so it's 180 degrees. Turn that finger around and point it right back at the fucker that's saying this shit. You'll get the picture here. Now let's say let's look at this further. Let's say let's just suppose for a minute we won't even. Let's just say a guy comes into office or thinks about running for office. Okay. And he's an outsider, okay, and he's not a politician, and he's a businessman, and he's looking at America and he's going, wow, he's looking at it from a financial point of view mainly, looking at all the jobs that have been lost that were sent overseas, looking at all the laws that have been passed, gun laws, personal infringement of the Fourth Amendment laws, executive orders and the score, everything that he's looking at, and he's saying, I got to get rid of this, I got to turn it around. And that's exactly what this person is saying as he enters the race. And then the established status quo, deep state, the Hillary crowd, because you can call it the Hillary crowd because she's representing them in Wall Street and the elite. They don't like this because that upsets the apple cart and that upsets the status quo. And so they will either assassinate this person or assassinate his integrity or assassinate his personality or assassinate his character. You get this, people? Because some just don't fucking get it. So they use this situation. They use the mainstream media, which is owned, bought, and paid for, and totally one-sided, to demonize one person so that they don't get into office, so that they can keep the status quo going. And you have all these nut fringe case people, LGBT and blacks, and I'm kind of pissed off right now. No, I'm not grouping them all in the same. I'm grouping the ones that are in organizations. Okay? Even the fucking tree huggers. And by tree huggers, I mean people that are in these organizations for in the environment, for nature, supposedly. But it's all controlled by a guy named George Soros or somebody else similar. Okay? Who uses these people to start protests and riots and illegal activities, and who uses these people like they did in the Arab Spring to overthrow governments. Okay? And these people that are so have so much lack of self-worth, that they got to join an organization, and they got to parade in the streets, and they got to do this and they got to do that. They're a bunch of fucking moronic, weak individuals that are out of balance. And they don't give a fuck about anybody except themselves, okay? Their gay pride or their equality for women or their, okay? And they're the ones that are out there doing this shit. And you know what? They can get just as violent as anybody else. I don't want to sound like, that I'm anti anybody. I'm anti the people that have low self-esteem, whatever group they're in. Okay. Have low self-esteem, are weak, are led by the fucking nose ring. Okay. by other people, by an organization, okay, or by a political movement. They're used people. In a way, I feel sorry for them. They're used, okay, by people that know how to use them. And so, of course, the rest of the people out there in the general community, and even in some of the communities on Google, who should know better, I'm not giving this any quarter. I didn't devote several years of my life trying to educate people as to how the deep state and covert ops and works, and how to be a free spirit, and how to see through the bullshit, to give this quarter. I'm a warrior. I'm not going to. I'm not going to give ground on it. You're either going to wake up, you're either going to, if you can't take the heat, get out of the fucking kitchen, period. It's hurtful to me to think that I waste my time on fucking people that don't get it. And I have a good heart. I do. People that know me know I have a good heart. But I'm not going to sit around and have people close to me and other people walk down some fucking garden path right before my very eyes and not get a fucking thing out of what Thunder says, or even other people. It isn't just me. Not wake up, not see what the fuck's happening here. You got to wonder where Hillary is, don't you, really? With this shit? Because here she was whining and crying about how much she loves the American people and kids. Not. And after all the kids she's had killed. And whining and crying about how much, and then won't even come out and try to calm violence in cities because she lost the election. Won't even try to calm the people down, at least to this point of when I'm doing the video. And if she does, she's probably been forced to. But they don't like peace. They want chaos. They want this shit. They want every man's hand against his brother. They want to divide and conquer. They want to divide friends. They want to divide lovers. They want to divide families. Whether it's a blood family or a group of people that's like a family. They work in insidious ways. And I can't let what I see slide. And if I see it in friends or close ones or loved ones, if I see that they're fucked up in the head, okay, by some propagandized, brainwashing bullshit coming from the media and just all kinds of sources, if I see that they can't quit with the hate, okay, and don't say you don't have hate if you're demonizing somebody, if you're calling them a bully, if you're calling them a blowhard, a racist, if you're saying things like, oh man, that's just the most horrible thing. These people that voted for him must be out of their fucking minds, and this type of thing. Don't think you have it together, because you don't. You don't. Period. End of story. You're with rhetoric like that, you're taking part in a hateful attitude. Now, like I mentioned earlier, this guy that just came out of nowhere and seemingly and all of a sudden wants to correct some things, and then he got demonized, and the hate built up against him. Okay, it built up against him. Now, am I saying, okay, that this guy might be perfect, or am I saying that down the road bad things might happen with his presidency, or he might be manipulated? The guys in the black suits might come knock on his door and say, we're going to fuck your family over if you don't do what the fuck we tell you. He might have had good intentions going in. The hope has to be that the person is strong enough to overcome that somehow. Okay? So rather than throw the baby out with the bathwater, okay, rather than coming off with a hateful attitude about, possibilities that might, distinct positive possibilities that might happen in the future, why not wait a while? I've never seen anything so self-centered, egotistical, dark, any negative word I could use to cover these people that are out there destroying things and hurting other people and hurting their businesses. I was thinking today about, I got to go into Vegas probably tomorrow and take care of some business. I was talking with my sister about it, and I'm thinking, well, what if these people showed up in front of my car? And what if they were jostling people around and jumping on cars like they have been doing? They're already doing it. What if they did that to Thunder? What do you think I'd do? Well, I know what I'd do. I'd run the motherfuckers over. Period. End of story. Because you see, I lived through and lived amongst the in California when the Rodney King riots were taking place, and I saw what can happen when people get like this. I saw incidents of truck drivers being drug out of their cars and beat till they were bloody fucking pulp. So yeah, if somebody stood in front of my car and tried to stop me, I'd run the motherfucker over. And use that as a metaphor, okay, for if somebody tries to stand in front of me on a metaphorical level, I'm going to run them over too. Because to me, they're the enemy. If you're not part of the solution, you're part of the problem. And if you're so fucking brain dead that you can't see with the third eye and not the two eyes, well then fuck you. That's what I got to say. Now I'm a forgiving sort, and but you know what? I don't forgive over and over and over and over, mistake after mistake after mistake. Now, am I perfect? No, I'm not. So maybe that's part of my imperfection is I don't forgive forever, and I especially don't fucking forget. And I do take things personally when I invest a lot of time and energy into a person or a group, okay? I expect that person or that group is thankful for the shamanistic, enlightened counsel or guidance that I might give. from the heart. So I'm really tired. It's just plain and simple. It just boils down to either you pay attention and you get what the fuck Thunder's saying, or you get what the fuck an enlightened viewpoint is, or you don't. Okay? And nobody's twisting your arm to remain anywhere. Nobody's twisting your arm to like me. But if you say you do, and if you say you're into the precepts that are available, let's say, on certain levels or certain communities, if you say you're into that, and your actions show otherwise, because of some kind of blindness that you personally fucking have, even after being shown, then I'm not going to stand around and let people throw slings and arrows at me and hurt me. Okay? So just want to let you know where I'm coming from. Okay? People out there that might know who, if I'm talking to them or not. I may or may not be. This applies basically as a general rule to anybody that I come in contact with. I'll just, I'll just withdraw from their presence and go out and have a fucking good time on my bike, which I already have been doing. Because it just gets to be too fucking much. So you might want to think about this a while, okay? You people out there in general, about whether you have to put up on a personal level with people that you thought might have been loved ones, might have been friends, because a division is being created. Okay, a division is being created. And it's getting to the point where it's so critical right now, if you're a warrior, you don't consort with the enemy. And to me, the enemy is anybody that is stupid enough not to fucking get this. I don't know how many times or ways that it has to be explained to people. Anyway, after this video, I'll probably just cruise the mountains and reflect, okay, and try to forgive. That's probably what my agenda is going to be for now. You know, seriously. Because I have a very low tolerance for people that say they're friends, or say that they understand, or say that they, and people in general that I just need to get out and take a ride and breathe some fresh air and, you know, maybe just get off the fucking internet, period. End of story. I just can't believe what's happening here. And, you know, I told you it was going to happen, and it's either going to be, I said, it's either going to be a national war, meaning national, like in this country, or a world war. And it's just getting too fucking critical to turn my back on it and to put up with people that are not with it, okay? Don't get it. I'm out of here. Adios.